F is for fame. The aura that quickly surrounds people who become television faces. Sometimes the aura is not entirely new. That was the case with Jackie Fullerton. Before he joined UTV in the early 1970s, Jackie was already well known as a professional footballer.
I think in footballing terms you have that little parochial bit of fame wherever you're playing and you're in the local papers or whatever. Television was totally different, and it was only after a few weeks, which was very nice, I mean, at the start, when people started to recognize me or anybody who's on television off the screen. And they said, oh, we saw you, and you're doing well, and you're saying thank you, and you're laughing all this up. But I remember the late and the great Derek Murray, who was my first ever producer, and I owe Derek a great debt as well. Derek could see that I was getting used to this being recognized, and maybe my head was getting slightly bigger at that time. And he always called me Wee Man, and Derek, he said to me one day, he said, Wee Man, he says, always remember, he says, in this business, 30% like you, 30% don't, and the other 40% don't care one way or the other. And I thought, yeah. And do you know this? I've always remembered that. I really have, because it's true. It's true of life.
Whereabouts are you from?
Yes, it's as well not to get hooked by fame. After all, your admirers may not be too certain who you are.
There was Huey Green, you see, and there was Jimmy Green, and they could get us mixed up, you know. Oh, Jimmy, oh, no, Huey, hi, Huey. No, it's not me, no, he's, oh, yeah. But, now, people were always very nice, but of course you were, within a few weeks, in the small community, everybody knew you.
There's your man off of television, Eugene Summers or whatever his name is, you know. I mean, people get the name Julian, but some get it, I'm called Adrian, Eugene, Eustace, Julius. But there's your man off of television.
Television fame can linger a long time in viewers' memories. This has been particularly true for the children's programme Romper Room.
When I returned to Northern Ireland about 7 years ago, I remember walking down the street and someone said, "You're Miss Helen, aren't you?" And I thought you were, I said, dead. Not quite. But 43, 44-year-old people coming up, middle-aged people now, and the look on their face is quite astonishing. And what I think is happening, they're not seeing me now, they are remembering me as the lady who saw them in the magic mirror, as it were, and they're really rubber-banded back to their childhood. But it is delightful.
Fame and its equally desirable partner, fortune, are what many people dream of. Yet the young Eamon Holmes nearly talked himself out of his first opportunity.
The man who gave me the job was a fantastic big bear of a man called Rory Fitzpatrick, and he said to me, "That's fine, you'll be doing farming 2 days a week." And I said, "Oh well, 2 days a week, that's not a lot." He said, "But it's a fortnightly program." And I said, "And how much would that be worth?" And he said, he shouted out to his secretary and he said, "Ruth, what's the NUJ rate? National Union of Journalists union rate." And she said, £44.44, Mr. Fitzpatrick. So I sat there and I thought, I wasn't particularly good at maths, which is why I ended up being a journalist. And I thought, well, I'm on £3,200 a year in my existing job. I said, so £44, that's 88, 160. That's less than £2,000 a year. It's about £2,000 a year. I'm not doing that. And I said, Mr. Fitzpatrick, that's not enough money. And he said, well, look, we can spread out your week, he said. You're into sport. You like sport, don't you? And I said, yes, I do. And he picked up the phone. He phoned the sports editor, Terry Smith, and he said, could you give this lad 3 days a week in sport? And he said, yeah, I could do that as well. And he said, that's good. He said, right, you've got 5 days now here at Ulster Television. And I said, how much would that be worth? He said, oh, it's the same rate. And I said, well, I may be young, but I'm not stupid, I thought to myself. He's offering me the same money. I'm doing 5 days a week, more work than he started out offering me, for around £2,000 a week, and I'm on, or £2,000 a year, and I'm on over £3,000 a year at the minute. I thought, this doesn't add up. So I said, no, I couldn't possibly accept the job. So he was very angry. He said, I'll ask you to consider. I said, I don't remember any young lad in your position being offered this chance and turning down a position here. And I said, well, Mr. Fitzpatrick, that's the way I feel. He says, Ruth, show this man out. So the secretary walks me to the door, and she says to me, what went wrong? They loved you. Why did you not take the job? I said, he's offering me 44 quid a week to do this, and I'm on at least double that now. She said, 44 quid a week? She said, that's 44 quid a day. And I had just turned it down. My salary was going from 3,000 to about 9,000 pounds a year, and I had turned it down. And I thought, that's my chance of getting into TV gone. So I ran down to the post office on the Ormer Road, and I got a fiver changed into coins, and I went to a telephone box and I phoned him back. And his secretary Ruth said, I'm sorry, he's having his lunch. And I said, please, could I speak to him? And he took my call, and I always remember him eating when he was talking to me, and he said, well, and I said, Mr. Fitzpatrick, I think I've made a mistake. I thought my career lay in writing for the construction industry, but I realised I made a terrible mistake, and it really is farming I should be doing. I realised I grovelled, and he was just silent, and I just thought, oh, please God, please God. And he said, you start on Monday. I phoned him down. Redemption.